All right, welcome to the World and Secret channel. Today we're going to react to Uber Lyft abandoned woke city. Well, we all know that woke cities are very much crime filled, or they, I guess, incentivize certain criminal activities like bail. If you steal something that's less than $1,000, you don't go to jail. So I'm not surprised they're leaving. But make sure you like, subscribe, do the whole thing, and let's watch this video.
Then people can give you tips and all of the above.
Right.
You can't sit there and say, you got to get paid at least this amount of money. And then some people ain't doing nothing and others are doing a lot. And so they're trying to enforce this by adding all these extra charges and per mile and doing all this stuff to get the drivers to $15 an hour. And they're just going to remove the ride share from an entire city. And the people in charge are stumbling down on it, and it's insane to me.
Move.
You know how many tourists go through Minneapolis and they ain't got no way to get from the airport because Uber and Lyft have just destroyed all these other industries. Man, ain't nobody finna get in a taxi cab.
Yeah, there wasn't a taxi
cab
before.
There ain't no GPS in a taxi cab. Nobody tracking it. You jump in the car, homeboy, take you somewhere, take all your money. You don't even know where you're going. They just drive somewhere. Now, maybe taxi cabs have caught up to the Joneses. I haven't been in one since Uber and Lyft came out. But, man, I don't think it's as safe. There's no database and stuff that you can log into and all this record, and none of that exists. And you want people to just jump into these cars and randomly go somewhere. People aren't taking care of these cabs. It's not like they got nice ones. I mean, listen to these idiots. Let me play the news.
The latest Frontline and the battle over fair pay for rideshare drivers is in Minneapolis. Uber and Lyft have threatened to leave the city over a new ordinance that sets minimum wages for drivers. As special correspondent Fred DeSam Lazaro reports, it's leading to bigger questions about the state of the gig economy.
Lifelong Minneapolis resident Matthew McGlory started driving for Uber and Lyft over 7 years ago. He loves the flexibility, the chance to meet new people, and for a while he felt like drivers and the companies were true partners. But in the past few years, McGlory says, drivers have seen a smaller cut of fares.
Is it fair that Lyft or Uber will charge a passenger $67 and give the driver $23? We're not asking for anything more than we think we deserve or anything more than we think is fair.
That's why McGlory.
I can capitulate to or at least agree with him. You have the right to ask. If a person worked for me and they believe that they're not getting paid what they deserve, they can come and ask me. But hey, you better make sure that you're worth what you're asking me for.
Very true.
And that I cannot just replace you with somebody else that's better than you. All right, roll the clip.
He supported a recent Minneapolis City Council ordinance that sets minimum pay for rideshare drivers. It requires the companies to pay drivers at least $1.40 per mile and 51 cents per minute during rides.
And these are the forced rates?
It's really simple. It's about giving.
It's always dumb black people, dumb black liberals that they're ruining entire cities to virtue.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. Well, yeah,
and the white ones are crazy too. But I'm saddened to see people do this that have come from beginnings that black people have come from in this country. To just be so ignorant to the legacy of our ancestors and how black people have come from slavery to being the most prosperous black people in the world through capitalism.
And now you're gonna give your minimum wage.
They just ruining stuff. They just dumb, out of touch reality.
Go ahead and get your
ruining their states and countries and cities and wherever they at, they ruin
workers a minimum wage.
These are static facts.
Council member Robin Wansley.
And she fat. Go figure.
All right.
She probably believe in body positivity and all this other stupid stuff.
He helped write the policy.
We hold the standard that workers should earn livable wages. We should not make exemptions for rideshare drivers because they're part of the gig economy. This is the time to reevaluate our dependence on two corporate giants that have based their entire economic model on paying their drivers sub-minimum wages.
Immediately after the ordinance passed, both Uber and Lyft said they would stop operating in Minneapolis on May 1st, the day the increases take effect. Uber spokesman Josh Gold.
What we saw in other markets is if you raise rates too high, you may be making more for each individual trip. Because demand's going to go down, you'll actually be making less on an hourly basis.
Are you really going to leave on May 1st if this doesn't change?
Yes.
Yeah. Also, I mean, they have the right to. If a company feels like they're not, getting what they deserve, then they can leave. That's under U.S. law. And it's also funny, like, don't we all know this? Like, if you raise minimum wage too high to the point where a company is going to lose money, eventually the company is going to lose our money, and the Uber drivers are no longer going to drive because the company is going to be gone. They're going to be, file for bankruptcy or do some whatever. The company's going to be gone, so they have the right to leave. And it is pretty funny.
Pointed to the company's decision to leave Austin, Texas in 2016 after that city passed a driver fingerprinting requirement. It only returned when the state passed a law preempting the city. But Uber and Lyft have backed down from threats to leave elsewhere.
I really hope we can continue to work with drivers and policymakers in Minneapolis to continue to stay. But if it doesn't make sense to operate a business, we won't operate a business.
Exactly. It doesn't take rocket science. I think that's the whole video. If it's not operational, we're just gonna leave. Like, you can't bully capitalist businesses into just doing what you want them to do.
Or you can't bully a business to bankruptcy. It doesn't work.
Wishful thinking. You guys are not being honest. If you say,
you can't force
Brandon
somebody
Tatum,
to be like,
think about this for a minute, y'all. Think about this. None of my people get paid nowhere near minimum wage. Everybody's getting paid way more than minimum wage that work for me. I just don't, personally, I'd rather take a pay cut and pay more people money than to be lingering people that's leaving and they can't provide for their family. The turnover rate is crazy here. I'd rather not do that as a business because I do care about people as well. But if you said, Brandon, you got to pay everybody that work for you at least $25 an hour. And I'm talking about the people that work in the warehouse, $25 an hour. If you mandate it, I may not let them go. But you know what's going to happen? These T-shirts you see, I'm going to raise the price on the T-shirts. I'm going to raise the price on shipping. I'm not going to go bankrupt because the government want me to do X, Y, Z.
Plus, inherently, some jobs are worth less. Like, not all jobs are equal. Some jobs are inherently just less, maybe just less work, less time. Some jobs are just inherently less.
Operating budget.
Other.
That's why we price the things that we price. That's why we pay people what we pay them, because we have to structure an operational budget long term. You can't say, I'm just going to pay everybody whatever you want to make $30, $40 an hour. Let's do that. I'll be out of business in 3 months. We have to make a projection. We have to make a run-through rate. All of those things go into business. So we say, okay, this is what we can afford to pay you. Who wants to work for that? And it's a livable wage. Who wants to work for this? If you can't, I'll find somebody else. And if the government forced me to do something, I'm just going to either eliminate that position, eliminate that department, or I'm got to raise the prices in other areas, compensate for the income that we're going to lose. And it's not so I can go buy a jet and all this other stuff. It's because operational costs come with the cost. And big major conglomerate companies like Uber and Lyft, they're not losing anything by not operating in Minneapolis. They still make tons of money other places. They're not losing anything. And all they have done with saying you need to pay a person this or else. Now the person has no income.
Yeah.
Now they have nothing.
Now they're
you
fired.
You can forget about getting paid a livable wage. Zero ain't a livable wage.
Yeah.
You got to pay them. Listen, you got to pay entry-level workers $25 an hour. Okay, I'm firing all of them. And I'll pay $30 an hour to one person instead of paying $12 an hour.
Guess what? I'll just move from a different state.
I'm just going to pay one person $30 an hour, and I'm going to let them do all the jobs that y'all had them other people doing. I'll just go get somebody far more qualified, and they make more money, and they work, and I'll start eliminating these positions. You're not going to force me to do this, or the customer that come in is going to pay it. This is why there's no such thing as paying. This is why there's no such thing as raising taxes and making the wealthy pay their fair share. It doesn't exist, because what you do is, especially if you do it to me as a business owner, you go, Brandon, your tax goes from 25% corporate tax, 35%. That's a 10% increase in taxes. So what do? I just raise the price. I just eliminate positions. I think like, for instance, I all the people at my staff, they get all the snacks they want they get all of the juices and energy drinks and everything they want is completely covered by the company. If you start doing stuff like that, I'm gonna have to eliminate those valuable things in our company. You're not gonna bankrupt me. You're just gonna make me start doing other things that's gonna negatively affect the people that work here, and it's gonna negatively affect other aspects of business and other people who
can bully business to
not seeing a pay increase, not getting their taxes cut, are going to pay more for stuff than they used to. Now, a smaller business like me, I can get away with a few things. You talk about Walmart and stuff; they're not going to do that.
Plus Walmart doesn't care.
2 or 3 stores.
You think they're going to?
They can shut down entire stores.
Move.
They can not operate in an entire city and be fine. They can just focus their efforts on other cities.
Walmart can lose that.
You know who can't afford
money.
to do that?
They're
People
fine.
that are working entry-level jobs will have no jobs. That's like when dumb AOC decided to, convince Amazon that they shouldn't operate in New York. Woman, they were finna bring like 15,000 jobs or something. Average $80,000 salaries and stuff. I mean, and you say, no, you don't operate here, and now people don't have no opportunities. It's just crazy to me, man. I honestly believe that something is better than nothing. Minimum wage is a because all you do if you don't want to pay people minimum wage, you just contract the person. If you don't want to pay a minimum wage, you just pay them. What you do is you make them part time. They get paid, but they work part time. If you don't want to pay people these certain positions, you start letting other people do it, money under the table. That's what companies do. Why would I get a cleaning crew? I can just get people to clean and pay them under the table. Why would I can get a person to come. Now, I don't do it because I don't want to get in trouble with the Lord. And I don't want to get in trouble with mankind. But like if I really was struggling and I really need to, and I can't afford something, I just go pay somebody under the table to go in here and print some stuff on my screen print. Therefore, the person that want me to pay them $25 an hour, well, we may pay our screen printer more than that. But the person that wants us to pay $25 an hour or something, I just pay somebody $12 an hour. They come in here and work 24 hours a day. Can't speak no English, but they working. Y'all really want that life? Okay, that's what
and that's what happens. A lot of the companies. They are forced to do that. Well, make sure you like, subscribe, do the whole thing, and I will catch you tomorrow. All right.